devotees, my humble obeisances to you all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaja's daily class. Today, we are continuing with our Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 3rd chapter, verse number 20. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'll share my screen, Maharaj, again.
Haribo, Chai, my obeisances to all the devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna, Jai Ho. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Snigdhasmita Valokena Bhajapuyusha Kalpaya Charitrena Navadyena Sri Niketana Chatmana. He was there in his transcendental body, the residence of the goddess of fortune. In his usual gentle and sweet smiling face, his nectarine words, and his flawless character. Purport. In the previous verse is described that Lord Krishna, being situated in the Sankhya philosophy, is detached from all kinds of matter. In the previous verse, it is described that he is the residence of the goddess of fortune. These two things are not all contradictory. Lord Krishna is detached from variegatedness of the inferior nature, but he is eternal, blissful enjoyment of the spiritual nature of his internal potency. One who has a poor fund of knowledge cannot understand the distinction between the external and internal potencies. In Bhagavad Gita, the internal potency is described as the Paraprakriti. In the Vishnu Purana also, the internal potency of Vishnu is described as Parashakti. The Lord is never detached from the association of Parashakti. This Parashakti and her manifestations are described in the Brahma Samhita. Ananda Chimaya Rasa Pratibhavita Bhi. The Lord is eternally joyful and cognizant in the taste derived from such transcendental bliss. Negation of the variegatedness of the inferior energy does not necessitate negation of the positive transcendental bliss of the spiritual world. Therefore, the Lord's gentleness, his smile, his character, and everything related to him are all transcendental. Such manifestations of the internal potency are the reality of which the material shadow is only a temporary representation, from which everyone with proper knowledge must be detached. Om Gyantimirandasya Gyanajana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Staplitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Mayam Dadati Swam Tad Padantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Vanchakalpa Tarupascha Kripa Sindhu Vaibhacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the material world is characterized by duality. There is good and bad, happiness and distress, heat and cold, gain and victory and loss. And people are moved by these dualities. When someone sets out for gain, they get they get lost, they lament. Someone who is in loss gets an uninvited amount of good success, they become jubilant. Just like the Chavakra bird, upon seeing the moonlight in the autumn season, becomes happy. And when he sees the sunlight in the same season, he doesn't become happy. So the material world is characterized by duality, and people are moved by duality. But one must understand that this movement of duality causes the mind to be always unsteady and distressed. Some loss comes and people lament, they cry, they cannot forget the loss, and they carry it on for sometimes for many years, especially when one loses a dear loved one. They lament that loss instead of moving on in their life and going on with what is important. They live in the past and simply suffer about what has happened, but at the same time, they can't change it because the past is what it is. It's gone. Can never be brought back or changed by any amounts of efforts or even great amounts of riches. But here, the transcendental realm is not characterized by these dualities. Therefore, Krishna, in his natural consciousness of eternal knowledge and bliss, is always joyful. Always joyful. He's always tasting transcendental bliss. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. That ras, that is Chinmaya, transcendental, is Ananda. It's full of transcendental happiness. And when one connects with the Lord in devotion, or in any way one connects with the Lord, one experiences a relief from suffering. And it rises above the dualities of happiness and distress, loss and gain, honor and dishonor. They enter into the world of what we say absolute nature, where everything is joyful, everything brings about success and happiness. But in order to do that, one has to engage fully in devotional service because the waves of the material energy are unceasing. They consider to beat onto the bodies and minds of the conditioned souls, unending happiness, distress, some internal or some intermediate mood of feeling not either happiness and distress, which is just a neutral stage, which doesn't last very long. This is the material world, and it is designed so the living entity cannot fulfill their desires for happiness, for longevity, or even to fulfill their desires for temporary happiness. It comes so fast that it goes just as fast as it comes. It's like a breath of air is breezing through a garden, and then one smells the fragrance of the flowers, but soon when the wind stops, the fragrance is no longer there. So in the same way, this is the material world. We're chasing after these temporary states of happiness, which just causes great amounts of time and energy in trying to achieve these things. But many times, the conditioned souls doesn't know what their happiness is, and therefore they wind up with suffering. And even if they know what their happiness is, they still become afflicted by the distress coming by the waves of material energy. Even the greatest and successful of all people, even though they may apparently enjoy some success in life for some time. Soon that will be followed by misery, suffering, and loss. That is the nature of the material world. Mhm. So one should free themselves from this apara shakti and come to the para shakti or the parak prakriti. That is the spiritual world. That is in relationship to Krishna. Here it gives some happiness just by describing the Lord is gentle, although he's powerful and the source of all existence. He exhibits a gentle nature when he performs his activities along with his devotees. His smile is considered as the epitome of beauty. Out of all of his characteristic, his smile is considered the most beautiful of all of his characteristics. His character is loving and protecting and inspiring. Everything about him is related to the transcendental realm. Therefore, who would want to stay in this material world and simply be tossed by the waves of material existence, life after life? Maya davase, kacho bese, kacho ha bubu dubai. But we are Krishna Das, not Maya Das. Maya Das is not not our identity, but we've accepted Maya as our master, and therefore, because we accept Maya as our master, she rules our life by subjecting us to the waves of the material energy, sometimes up, sometimes down, and most of the times down, because the higher you go up, the lower you go down. Everything is in proportion. Those who experience the greatest form of material happiness will also experience the greatest form of material distress. Everything is in proportion. Now, this is the material world. We make plans for happiness, but how those plans are fitted into our consciousness based on the desire to achieve happiness. Because we want happiness, we make plans to become happy. But then again, how can we guarantee that those plans will actually fructify and fulfill our desire? Very seldom, hardly any. And therefore, one should look for that happiness where it resides. Where does it resides? Is a very nice statement in the Bible. In Matthew 19, I believe it is in the Bible. Do not put thy treasure in a place that can be corroded by rust, eaten by moss, or stolen by thieves. Put thy treasure in thy heart, and put thy heart in the kingdom of God. Beautiful. In other words, the treasure, what is our treasure? Ultimate happiness. Where is that found? In Krishna. And where can we find Krishna? In the process of devotional service under the guidance of Krishna's pure representative, who would manifest himself as the servant of Krishna in the material world. Although he has no business in the material world, he still acts in the material world to save the conditioned souls on behalf of Krishna's desire. Therefore, one who is looking for happiness in Krishna, one must start to experience that path of happiness that is given to us by Krishna through the spiritual master. Therefore, it says that the instructions of the spiritual master are the life and soul of the devotees who are on the path of devotion. They consider those instructions more valuable than their very life, because those instructions give them real life and take away this so-called life of this material world which just is a phantasmagoria, a dream, an image in the sky. As Prabodhananda Saraswati says, the happiness in material life is like the eggs of a horse. There's no such thing as horse eggs. In other words, they're just an imagination. The happiness of liberation is no better than flowers in the sky. Flowers don't grow in the sky. Neither does happiness come from liberation. Maybe some temporary relief from suffering, but because it is temporary, it again puts us back into the suffering of material energy. So therefore here it says one should take time and use time, we might say, and learn about the all blissful character of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By hearing about his glories, his activities, his relationships with his devotees, his kindness towards all living entities, his character, his beauty, his wealth, his strength, his fame, his renunciation, all of these things inspire the devotee towards ultimate eternal life. Therefore, this is the focus of a devotee to, as Srila Prabhupada said, my most important instructions to my devotee is to glorify the Lord by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that chanting awakens the soul's nature towards the Supreme Soul in devotion. Cheto, Darpanam Marjanam, cleanses the heart. The heart has pure love for Krishna, but it's covered by the elements of the material energy, lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy. All of these are like very thick coverings over the pure soul, which cause the soul to forget its actual identity and struggle to somehow either fulfill these desires or to rid themselves of these desires. In either case, it's a struggle. And so a serious devotee, or one who actually has their own best interests at heart. Everyone has their best interests at heart because everyone wants to do good to themselves. Before they can really do good to others, they must also take care of themselves in such a way that they can offer something to others. So the first thing is to understand who I am and how I can find happiness and success while I'm still in this material body. And that is through the process of pure devotional service, which centers around glorification of the Lord. Satam prasangam mama virya samvido bhavanti ritkarna rasayana kata najosita dyat pavat bhavartmani bhaktir anukramishyati. A beautiful verse from the third canto, 25th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that the glories of the Lord are like nectar to the ear and to the heart, and they awaken attraction to the Supreme Lord. When one starts to regularly perform activities in glorification of the Lord, then, as it says, that real bhakti begins. And bhakti actually begins when glorification of the Lord becomes the prominent activity of the aspiring devotee. We can glorify the Lord through service. We can glorify the Lord through words. We can glorify the Lord through serving his devotees. In other words, glorification of the Lord may take different forms. But then there's direct glorification of the Lord, which is to speak his glories, to hear about his glories, to chant his glories, to remember his glories, to propagate his glories to others. These glories are actually the life and soul of the devotee. They find great happiness in hearing about and speaking about the glories of the Lord, which are unlimited as the Lord, as an ocean is considered to be unfathomable and unlimited. No one can expand the measure of an ocean. No one can go to the bottom of an ocean. It's so deep and so vast. There was one story where there was a place, it's in, I think it's in what is called, I don't know, yeah, it's related to Lord Brahma, can, Lord Brahma actually,
Pushkar Guru Maharaj?
Pushkar, yeah, thank you, Pushkar, and there's a tank there, and it's now it's encircled with bars, and there's a water. When the British were there, they wanted to find out how deep it was, so they got their measuring devices out, and they went down 1.5 miles, and they ran out of measuring devices. It didn't go any farther. So that tank is actually the center of the universe. The center of the universe resides in this area of the world known as Pushkar. That they could go another 1,000,000 miles down and still keep going down. So this is the glories of the Lord, even in form of his creation. So therefore, those who speak the glories of the Lord can never get tired and never get bored and never run out of glories either. And the glories of the Lord are transcendental. So one may speak the same glories over and over again and find newer and greater meaning and more transcendental happiness in each time they perform this activity of glorifying the Lord. That's the nature of spirits. Spirits expand. Spirits is never limited. It is always unlimited. Material life is limited and it's miserable. Spiritual life is unlimitedly happy and ever expanding. And that centers around glorifying the Lord, which is the essence of the process of bhakti. That's why Lord Chaitanya made the chanting of the holy name the number one form of purification of the heart and the happiness that one achieves. We were doing kirtan last night in the temple, and the kirtan was just going on and on and on. And I could see the devotees wanted more and more and more. Of course, Prashadam was waiting, but still everyone was absorbed in the kirtan. And I was leading the kirtan and I was thinking, I don't want to stop. I didn't want to stop because of the time limit. But of course, I did at one point. But, we got to the point that everyone just wanted more and more kirtan. So this is how Krishna consciousness expands itself. Devotees dive deeply into the glorification of the Lord. And when they're swimming in that glorification, they're forgetting how they got there, why they got there, or when they're going to leave. They just keep swimming and swimming and swimming. And it becomes an ocean of transcendental happiness. That is glorification of the Lord. So whether we hear the glories of the Lord in his pastimes or chant his holy name or glorify the glories of his pure devotees, it becomes like an ocean of unlimited joy if we give it a chance. In other words, just like last night when I started the kirtan, I was feeling a little less enthusiastic. And I was thinking, I don't usually feel like this. I don't know why I'm feeling less enthusiastic. So I thought, all right, then let me just become enthusiastic and continue to chant, which I did, and I pushed all of my feelings aside. And then all of a sudden, a whole wave of transcendental happiness started to come. And I was feeling it in such a way that I was thinking, yeah, let's just keep going. So, and everybody was dancing. We even forgot who we were. Devotees were dancing erratically, not very symmetrically, but still it was, it was nice. I don't want to put myself forward as any kind of great personality, but I just want to glorify the fact that once we get absorbed in this form of transcendental activity, it becomes limitless. Lord Nityananda performed kirtan for 3 months straight without stopping. No one can even calculate what it's like to perform kirtan for 3 months straight, or even 1 month straight, or even 24 hours straight. But this is the Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, the ocean of material spiritual happiness, which is being transported to the material world, and those who take part are drowning in that happiness and forgetting about everything else. So that's Krishna consciousness. It's the epitome of happiness, and it's the source of all success in life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Such a wonderful class on this verse. Thank you so much. The devotees, please turn on your cameras if possible. And you can raise your hands for questions, or you can type in the chat box. I can read it for you.
Paraprakriti, aparaprakriti.
The devotees, any questions or comments? Please go ahead. Yeah. Krishna Kaviraj Prabhu.
Provide, please accept my humble obeisances, O glorious Srila Prabhupada. Very much she was speaking about the glories of Kirtan, and I was hearing only this morning about the critical importance of intention behind our participation in chanting and in Kirtan.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if this principle, this intention, is that also critical in all other aspects of devotional service?
Intention is really the foundation that is the driving force for whatever we do. With the right intention, then the results become wonderful. What is the intention when kirtan is to glorify the Lord? We sing in glorification of the Lord to inspire others to take part in glorifying the Lord. When the Lord is glorified, then everyone connects with the Lord in that glorification and becomes happy. Yeah, and so the intention is, as it says, what is the purpose of bhakti is to please the Lord. So that applies to all activities. So when that intention becomes the focus, then the activity becomes very pleasing, both to the devotee and especially to the Lord.
Thank you very much. That's very helpful.
We want to enjoy kirtan, but that enjoyment comes when we try to give Krishna enjoyment. Not that, okay, here's kirtan, we're going to enjoy now. We may not. But when the intention is right, it becomes automatic.
So before any activity, we should pause and set our intentions, right?
Yeah,
So before we perform any activity, we should set our intentions straight first.
that's nice. That's bhakti.
Thank you. That's been really helpful, Guru Maharaj.
And in a humble way. Humble means it's not that I'm so qualified to serve. I'm so qualified to, lead kirtan. One should not think like that. One should think, let me offer this service to you, although I'm unqualified. I'm going to try to please you by singing your glories or by offering some time, energy, intelligence, ability, words in your service. Devotee is not self-assured about he can please the Lord. He always takes the humble position. When someone asks Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, what is the qualification for leading kirtan? He quoted the verse from Shikshastika, Trinadapi Sanichena Tayori Vasahishnuna Amanina Mamanadena. And of course, Kirtaniya Sadarahi. So he gave the formula. The humility is the qualification for leading kirtan, as opposed to singing ability or expertise in melodious ups and downs in the music. It is Trinadapi Sanhichena.
Thank you, Maharaj. Prabhuji, hope that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Sri
Kate.
That's really good. That's really helpful. Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj.
We look forward to you dancing in France for the retreat.
I'm not sure if my knees can cope with that, but I'll try.
And I'm gonna tell you something that might shock you, but we got some of the best kirtan leaders coming for this particular event. So there'll be no lack of kirtan.
Yeah, wonderful, Guru Maharaj. Thank you. Sridevi Mataji, please go ahead.
We pray that Krishna allows us to, join together and have this wonderful program. Uncertainty governs the world, so with uncertainty comes thoughtfulness. With thoughtfulness comes different ideas. So let's hope that uncertainty becomes certain.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. As you were speaking about glorification of the Lord in Kirtan, I just couldn't help smiling because Kirtan Ras is the most wonderful gift that Lord Krishna has given us. And when we engage in Kirtan, it's just so uplifting, so wonderful that one doesn't want to stop. So Kirtan is like our daily tonic. Without that, I don't think it is possible to continue very long and devotional service. If one doesn't develop a taste for Kirtan and remains just, superficial, then one cannot really taste the sweetness of bhakti or engage with full-hearted enthusiasm. That
Yeah.
said, I was thinking about the trend nowadays. I've seen over here some devotees, they organize programs. They have prasadam first, then they have katha and no kirtan. And I'm just so surprised that how it can be like this. We should have Kirtan, Katha, and then Prashad. That's the order I'm used to. So I was wondering, what are your thoughts on this, Guru Maharaj, this new trend?
I don't think about that.
My thought was, I'm not going there again. One time is enough. Without Kirtan, there is no program, according to me.
According to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, one who performs kirtan will understand this process of devotional service. And then in his statement, which means that those who don't perform kirtan will never be able to benefit from bhakti. Because Lord Chaitanya has given it the focus. It's the essence. Kirtaniya sadarahi. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada wanted kirtan in each and every one of our temples for 3 hours every night. That's written in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila. So, yeah. And devotees become happy in kirtan. They forget their animosity towards others until the kirtan's over. Therefore, stay in kirtan. So some of us think, well, I can't dance. I'm too clumsy. I got 3 left feet. How can I dance? But Prabhupada answers that you just stand there, you sing, and then you throw your arms up in the air. And then you sing with your arms up in the air, and you fold your hands when the singer is singing, and then when you sing, you throw your arms up in the air, and your transcendental sound vibration goes out through your arms and lifts itself up towards the transcendental region. So even if you can't dance for whatever reason, still take part in kirtan. There was one young man who came last night. We were discussing, I gave my class and we were discussing relationships between devotees. And he was a person who doesn't come very often, but goes to visit different temples. And he was saying that he saw that how devotees develop relationships with each other. And then after some time, he sees how these relationships change and they're no longer favorable anymore for whatever reason. So I tried to answer his question, but then we had kirtan. And then I encouraged him to take part in the kirtan, which he did. He started dancing. Later on, he came up to me and he said, "This was nice." He was a very sober person, but somehow or other, he understood that, yeah, devotees can get along if they do kirtan.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
So Madatri was there in the kirtan. She's amazing. When she gets going, she becomes the cynosure of everybody. She dances so nicely that if you watch her dance, you actually become amazed. She holds back, she doesn't let go, but when she lets go, watch out. She's like over 70 years old and she dances like, she's like 17 instead of 71.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Hare Krishna, my humble obeisances. Only I want to share my realization from yesterday. Yesterday was one bad day for me. All pain, I have all pain body, and I think go in Zagreb or not go. But then I decided to go. And when I went out of car, I felt like 100 years old lady. All pain. I thinking what I will be doing here. Okay, I will sit, listen lecture, and then I go home. And then Kirtan begin. A little bit step left, right, and then forgot on pain, no pain, and dancing. And I remember, yeah, this is therapy, Maharaj said. This is therapy. And today it's better. It's not so pain. So I have to share. This was amazing kirtan yesterday. But this is mercy, Maharaj. Your mercy. You lead kirtan. So we
It's
are.
Lord Chaitanya's mercy. We just try to grab the mercy and run with it. That's all.
Yeah, very devotees are very inspired and very happy to
Yeah, it was a real.
begin kirtans in the Zagreb temple
That was
again.
one of the nicest
Yes.
programs I've been to. The questions in the classes were so good, really good questions. And then later on, the kirtan.
Maharaj, is there a recording for the class, Maharaj?
Yeah, everything is being. I actually recorded it also.
Okay.
My recordings go right to my website. So if you check on my website,
Yes, go.
find
Yeah.
that recording. The title was Community Building.
Okay. Sure, Maharaj. Thank you. Prasiddha Chaitanya Prabhu, please go ahead.
It
Hare
was,
Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Prahlad Nishring is asking what temple. That was the Zagreb temple in Croatia.
Prabhuji, please go ahead. Prasiddha Chaitanya.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances into lotus feet, Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, yesterday I watched two videos. In one video, you, His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj and Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj was there, and he was leading the kirtan, and you both were dancing like anything. Matlab, who has see this video, na, he can. I can easily absorb myself in a different world when I was watching this video. And second video I watched of Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj video, where he was telling to get Krishna, as you told, Krishna is the actual treasurer. So if you want to get Krishna, so you should cry. You should cry very loudly. He was telling you should cry. If you will not cry, you will never get Krishna. And in front of him, Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj was sitting, and he was crying like anything. He was crying. Oh, so video was so powerful, Guru Maharaj. वो मैं कल when I watched yesterday, it was amazed video, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah. Crying for Krishna is called Lauyam. Yeah. It's the price that one has to pay, but one cannot artificially do that. It has to be genuine. It's not some Babaji who's eating chilies and then he cries after that. No, it's not like that. It's no, it has to be real, coming from the heart. We're crying because we left Krishna, we're in this material world, and we're feeling separation from Krishna. When Ram went to the forest, my God, he caused everyone to cry. Everyone was crying. His mothers, all of his mothers, the citizens, millions of citizens within the Ayodhya, they were all crying in separation from him.
Yes, Maharaj.
Even Guru Maharaj, Bharat Maharaj was also in the separation when Lord Krishna went to the forest. He was whole time he was in the
He
separation
didn't
mode.
know about it until he got back to Ayodhya. When he got back to Ayodhya, his father had just left. And then he was informed of all the events. And then he also went into great sadness hearing everything. He didn't cry, he remained sober, but he was completely devastated by his mother, Kaikeyi, what she had done. He was cursing his own birth because of her. And then, of course, the thing is, they wanted him to become the king, but he refused. He said, it was my mother's plot, and even if I'm qualified to become king, I will not accept the position because the king belongs to Ram. And so then he made a plan to go into the forest, and the citizens also came with him. They practically emptied the whole city out, except for a few who guarded the city. And they all went into the forest to bring Ram back. But again, of course, I'm fast. And, I don't have all of the details, but Ram didn't want to come back because he wanted to do his duty. He was exiled into the forest by the instructions of his father. And then, of course, his father did it reluctantly just to satisfy his youngest queen, Kaikeyi, who forced him to accept the promise that he gave. And he lost his life because of that. Because when Sumantra took Ram and Lakshman and Sita into the forest, he accompanied them very far, and then Ram sent him back. When Ram sent him back, Sumantra came back and he was devastated. Although he was a chariot driver and also a very sober person, he became overwhelmed with grief. And then everyone was waiting for Sumantra to come back and bring Sita, Ram, and Lakshman back. They all wanted him to do that, but Ram wasn't going to change. And so he sent Sumantra back. He went back reluctantly. Even the horses didn't even want to go back when they were with Ram. The horses were crying. Yeah, it's described in the Ramayana. And when he got back, when he told Dasarath that, I did everything I could. He's not coming back. Dasarath just went into a deep form of sadness, and he actually left his body. He left his body simply feeling separation from his son, who was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mhm.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Jai Radha Madan Mohan Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Jai Radha Madhava, Jai Radha Madan Mohan. Where did you go?
Yeah, we'll come back
Rashida,
to him later.
Rashida, bring him back. Come on, you can do it. Tell him to come back.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. I'll just call him.
Call him up. Get him on the phone.
Yes, Maharaj. Before we can go to Amritaram Mataji, and later when Prabhuji comes, I can take his question.
In the meantime, Prasida Chaitanya should track him down and bring him back.
Yes, Maharaj. Amritaram Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Guru Maharaj, 2, 3 things I wanted to point out before I go to my question. One is while you were reading the purport and when you mentioned the smile of the Lord, so the deities of NVCC, what is the name? Radha Vrindavan Chandra. Radha Vrindavan Chandra, I could totally recall that face of Radha Vrindavan Chandra when you talk about the smile of the Lord.
Vrindavan Chandra in Pune.
Yes, yes. That is so transcendental, very much. And another thing, what Prasiddha Chaitanya Prabhu was talking about, that when you and Radhanath Swami Maharaj were dancing together, so my experience also was when there was a your Vyasa Puja in Ujjain, they were celebrating, and Radhanath Swami Maharaj was invited at that year. I think it was before the last year, and when you and Radhanath Swami Maharaj were sitting beside each other and glorifying each other, that was one moment that I was simply out of the world, beyond the words. I can't tell you how transcendental frame it was. And I just felt as if what I have entered some transcendental window and peeping inside it. So it was a wonderful thing. I could ever witness that. I don't know, that was one feeling I got. So
Maharaj can see good qualities even when there is not good qualities.
maybe that could have happened with me. You are one of the ideal of wonderful qualities, Guru Maharaj. So yeah, Guru Maharaj, my question was it's related to me only. When we try to look up to externals and we can't change externals so much, it is high time to we understand, we navigate inside. And I try that navigation, but sometimes I feel short that I'm not qualified enough, or um I feel that indication from Krishna that you need inner navigation, but I feel short that I'm not qualified enough, or what Krishna is trying to tell me, I'm not able to understand it properly. So, what should I do at that time?
You still reflect on the situation, and then you can see the situation from different angles of vision. You take it from one angle, and that's the angle due to attachment. But then you detach yourself from that particular thought process and see it from another angle. That's internal. That's internal. And that's actually Krishna helping you through your intelligence.
Seeing from different perspectives.
Yeah. If you see something causes you to lose something or to unfulfilled desire or something, then you look at it from another perspective. Actually, I didn't really need that. I thought I needed it. Maybe I didn't need it. And actually, if I got it, maybe it was actually not good for me. So it didn't happen. Therefore, it was actually beneficial that I failed to achieve what I wanted, or something was taken away and I didn't really need it. And then you can reflect on it in details. So that way you don't force yourself to go down simply because you're seeing it according to your attachments. Learn to
We can
become
take help from.
learn to
Yes.
become detached from happiness and distress and see it for what it is, rather than going up and down according to happiness and distress. It comes. Just like we use the example, the waves of the ocean will continue to come eternally as long as the ocean is there. So these waves of happiness, distress in the material world will continue to come.
Thank you, Gurmaj. And we can take the help of senior devotees, which we rely on, can
Yeah,
help us with.
yeah, that will help. But your own reflection is a way into understanding it and seeing it from a broader perspective. Not just a different perspective, but from a broader perspective. Our attachments give us narrow vision. When we're attached to something, we see it within a narrow way. But when we detach ourselves from the attachment, then we can see it in a different way or in a broader way.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Jai Radha Madan Mohan Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hey, you made it. Thank you.
I'm so sorry, Guru Maharaj. I was about to talk and I just got a call from other side. I'm so sorry for that. I was trying to disconnect it as soon as possible.
You're back.
Please accept my humble senses, Maharaj. I'm so sorry, first of all. Uh, Actually, I had a question regarding Kirtan. Yesterday, I was just listening to the glorification of Srila Prabhupada, and I saw that at Tompkins Square Park, he was doing Kirtan for 3 hours, and it was non-stop. So, Guru Maharaj, how can we practice that we can make our Kirtans long-lasting, and other side we don't feel like we should stop or in that way, like how we can make it more long lasting? What should be the bhav behind?
Just the deeper you go into the sound, the more the sound carries you. So when you're, for instance, if you're leading the kirtan, very carefully hear the response. If you're not leading the kirtan, then very carefully hear both the leader singing and the response, along with your own voice singing. The sound vibration is purifying. It's uplifting. So that will energize you and sustain you in kirtan, where time becomes less. I saw, we have our Madhava, he's one of the most revered kirtan leaders in ISKCON. One time I was there in one kirtan, he was in New Rajadam in Hungary, and he did it for 5.5 hours, the same melody for 5.5 hours. So he started at 7 and he ended at 12:30. 7 o'clock at night, ended at 12:30 at night. It was Radhastami celebration. So I came to him later, I said, wow. I was kind of glorifying how he was able to. And then somehow in the conversation, he mentioned that he chanted one time for 7.5 hours. And if you watch him, he closes his eyes and he goes deep into the sound. He's very much in tune to sound. When he hears the devotees are not singing loud enough, he always encourages devotees to increase the volume of their singing. And that helps them to become more inspired in chanting also. So yeah, meditate on the sound.
Okay.
Sometimes the sound comes easy and meditation is natural, and sometimes you have to focus your ear and connect with that sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hari, hari.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Raghav Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. Am I
Hey.
audible, Guru Maharaj?
Aye.
Thank
Yes,
you,
yes.
Guru
This is-
Maharaj, I heard today that crying in separation from Krishna and pure devotees helps in spiritual advancement. How does it actually happen, Guru Maharaj?
out of separation. When one longs for the association of the Lord and his pure devotees, that longing pulls the heart so strongly that the heart can't even take it anymore, so that's it. Well, that's an extreme form of bhakti. I mean, that's a very high form of bhakti. When one sees no happiness nowhere except only bringing back the object of one's happiness, or Krishna. So people leave the world like that out of separation, become so strong they can't live anymore. And everything around them has no meaning anymore. That's love. Separation is just a word for a form of love. That's all it is. It's love.
Thank you, Maharaj. Prabhuji, hope that helps.
Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
It's available. As we go deeper into the practice of bhakti, when we get rid of all of our attachments in this material world, and seeing them as useless or simply a detriment to our spiritual practice, then we're on the path of bhakti. As long as we still have material desires and we try to fulfill material desires, we'll never be able to reach that stage of bhakti. We have to see this world for what it is. It's meant for our suffering, that's all. Dukalayam asasvatam. We maintain the body, and if we have family, we take care of our responsibilities. But we're not trying to find enjoyment through material activities. We're just doing it as a duty. Our enjoyment comes in relationship to Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. We are almost at the mark of 1 hour. So, Shridevi Mataji, please go ahead. Mataji, you have any question or comment?
Thank you. Dear Guru Maharaj, as you were speaking just now about attachments, we may sometimes be able to give up gross attachments to many things. But on the subtle level, there are very deep anarthas which we may not even be aware of, such as profit, adoration, distinction, wanting attention, wanting appreciation, wanting admiration. All these are forms of subtle sex desire. And sometimes we are not aware. How do we get rid of these subtle anarthas? Is it still the process will still purify us even though we may not be aware?
The process of purification works first to rid one of the gross activities that are sinful or that are due to material attachments, and then as we continue in the processes and effectively apply the principles, then the mind and heart start to become cleansed of all of these things. So it starts first on the gross level and then goes to the subtle level. Attachment starts on the subtle level and goes to the gross level. Purification starts on the gross level and goes to the subtle level. When it's free on the subtle level, then you're free. Subtle means mind, intelligence, and a sense of ego, self. Gross means on the sensual level. Yeah. That's why people who apparently seem to be advanced, they still have attachments on the subtle level. And if they don't get rid of those, it'll come back in the form of the gross level again. And then they sometimes fall down in devotional service. Just like when you want to uproot a weed, You can cut it at the grass level, but then the root is still there. Although you can't see it, it still exists. And that means the weed will grow back. So when you dig into the ground and pull the weed out from the root, then the weed is gone.
So
So
by
the root of all of our attachments is two. Janasamoham yamaham mameti. These are the roots of our attachments. Profit, adoration, and distinction is just part of it. The idea, we identify ourselves with something material, and we want to enjoy something material. These are the two. Janasa moham, aham, mameti, I and mine. And that comes even on the subtler level where one wants to become the controller and the enjoyer. So these are the anarthas that lead us out of the spiritual world into the material world when we want to enjoy separately from Krishna. And we come to this material world, and then we make plans on how to do that, and then we try to control the material energy in order to fulfill that desire for enjoyment. So when we see Krishna as the enjoyer and the controller and serve him, then we can be free from that the most subtlest of all of the anarthas. As he says, Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheswaram. He's Bhokta. We become happy in relationship to him and not separate.
So by going very deep into chanting, will that completely help us to uproot these anarthas, Guru Maharaj?
There's different stages of chanting. When you come to Sudanam, yeah. What is that? What's the
So
one?
at Namabhas, we can expect that the subtle anarthas will be there. Namaprad, even gross anarthas will be there.
On subtle on Namabhas, the subtle anarthas will still be there. Subtle Namabhas means a glimpse of the glories of the holy name. It's like the example is if you see a cloudy sky, but then you see a ray of sun coming through the clouds, that's Namabhas. It's still covered, but the sun is still covered, but a ray comes through. So there's some happiness that is there, but still the sun hasn't revealed itself fully. That only comes on Sudanat when one chants free from all desires, gross and subtle.
But to reach Shuddhanam also, one has to keep on going deeper and deeper into our chanting. Even to reach Shuddhanam,
Yeah.
It's the means as well as the end, isn't it?
Yeah. A devotee doesn't stop anywhere. It's not a matter that you reach a certain place and then you stop.
Right.
No. Devotional service is always expanding. Always.
So when chanting Guru Maharaj, I know it means a call for service, pleading with the Lord to engage us in service, but we can also pray for purification from all these anarthas, for good qualities to come, for all our bad habits and conditioning to be taken away. We can pray for these things also when chanting, right?
Yeah, sure. As long as you're praying sincerely, not just presumptuously.
Not presumptuous. What does that mean? That means in a mood of arrogance, demanding?
Yeah. In the mood of, that's one aspect of it. The other one is that I don't want to
I didn't
suffer.
understand.
Yeah.
What is presumptuously asking, Guru? Can you
I
please
mean,
explain that, please?
you're presuming that by praying, you're going to get what you want. Prayer, I'm praying, therefore I'll be successful. So you're still looking for something. Offer the prayer in a genuine feeling of non-attachment. Pray for the sake of glorifying the Lord. Pray for the sake of freeing yourself from those things that block your relationship with the Lord. My mind keeps wandering while I'm chanting, so my dear Lord, please help me focus simply on your holy name. Free me from this rascal mind.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. This distracted chanting is something that one has to overcome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. My obeisance.
Okay. Okay, we can stop here.
Yes.
Thank you, Srimati.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Thank you, Maharaj. Such a wonderful class and nice discussion. We can end the call here and meet you all tomorrow again with Chaitanya Charitamrita class. Thank you, Maharaj. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much, Guru Maharaj. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.